Welcome to the Better 2 podcast. I'm your host, Donna. Today's guest is Amanda Brown. And Amanda, well, she has a dream. And we haven't done one of these stories in a while, but she has a dream of opening up a brick and mortar bookstore. She has been an avid reader since she was 10 years old, and we explore that as well as her dream. And we talk a lot about writing, the industry, and so much more. So tune in. Come Out of the Shadows is D.M. Needham's latest novella. World-famous singer Grace Fillmore catches the attention of many admirers. However, one individual will go to extreme measures to possess her. With the stalker situation intensifying, Grace's record label enlists bodyguard Dylan Roberts for her protection. As Dylan takes on the role of safeguarding Grace, she notices something she desires, but so does Dylan. Can Dylan stop the threat, or will their attraction become a distraction that jeopardizes everything? Come Out of the Shadows is available on Amazon.com. Hi, Amanda. How are you doing?
I am doing great. Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing good. I am doing good. It's a little early, but here we are. And I'm looking through your bio, and the one thing you mentioned, yes, well, I have my tea. I have my chai tea, and that's one thing I was going to mention. Your London fog tea. The last time, I had some, and then I packed it
Oh,
up. But yeah, I remember.
I love the London fog from Harney Sons.
Yes,
Oh
yes.
my,
Barnes
yes.
used to have that, and when I was writing, I would be having that or one of their other teas, but that was one of my favorites. So when I saw
Yes.
that in your bio, I'm like, yes, another tea aficionado. So what is the tea this morning you're having?
I'm actually having coffee this morning.
Oh,
This is my first cup, so gotta start with coffee. Get the memory
okay.
going.
Understand.
And then I go to tea. Yes. Right now I have an Earl Grey.
Okay.
Right now I'm working on. So yeah.
I'm having the double spice chai. So, with a little vanilla cream, a little splash of vanilla cream.
Ooh, that sounds good.
And normally I don't do the caffeine, but it's early. It's okay.
Yes.
So you have a love of reading, and your love of reading has inspired you to want to create your own bookstore.
Yes. Yes.
That's pretty ambitious. So tell us about this bookstore you want to create, and you're in the process of creating.
Yes, I am. To do that, I'm gonna go back a little bit
That's
and kind
fine.
of explain a little bit why. Uh, I was really close with my mother. And we always had talked about doing like a little coffee cup, coffee little spot, do a little drive through over in this area or something. It was kind of like a little fun teasing what we could do with our lives kind of thing. Um, but a couple years ago, some things happened, so I'm not as close with her now. But I wanted to do something that really honored her still, because I love her. And in the process of that, I also wanted to do a bookstore because I'm in Yuma, Arizona. Out here in Yuma, we have two. One that is a big box one. We all know B&N.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other one is a very small, disorganized used bookstore. Um, it was this was when I first came here. I'm sorry about that. When I first came here, that was the two options. And the guy was older. He smoked in the shop. So all those books were smelling like smoke at that point. And he was getting ready to shut it down. He was trying to sell it. And I thought about buying it at the time, but I had too much debt that I was going through that I just didn't have the ability to purchase it. So I just let it be. 2 years later, now I'm just like, you know what? I really like books. I need something that's just different, and I'm tired of just being in. Like, I love Barnes and Nobles, but they become expensive after a while.
Yeah, yeah.
And so one day I was actually going through Dollar Tree, and I'm looking over at Dollar Tree at some of their books because I'm just looking for myself, and I'm realizing these are $1.25. I mean, why am I not buying these and making some blind books or something, with them? So that's what I did. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna stock up on everything I can. I went to every Dollar Tree in my area, stocked up on every dollar book I could find that seemed interesting to me
Mm-hmm.
because I was like, I'm gonna make sure that it's interesting to me, just in case like it doesn't get sold or something. I can read it still. Um, so in the process of that, I started like wrapping these up. I was like, okay, one day I'll get all enough that I can go to one of the markets in the area. And I thought, oh, it's gonna be like 6 months to a year before I'm ever able to do that. I started this in August. It is now what, September, well, almost October now.
Hmm.
So 2 months. I've already got like 8 authors reaching out to me to help with this endeavor. I had my mentor here in town, which she will be a guest on my show as well. She told me like, maybe you should just start with like $100 every month to put into this. I was like, okay, I can do that. Well, honestly, I went a little over $100 first few times here.
Yeah.
um, because I saw the love and the support from the book community, and I was like, okay, I need to keep this going. So I have now over 80 books from Dollar Tree that I have wrapped up for blind dates with a book. They come with like the mask, a little fidget keychain, a pen, tea, stickers, bookmarks, all that stuff. So it was just a way to kind of package them. And I was just putting it on the internet. I didn't expect anything from it. I was like, let me start a website. Let's get putting it on there. Um, Almost instantly, I started having people asking questions about this. What's the next step? Where are we going here? And so I was like, okay, let's dive a little further. It was scary. So yeah, my goal right now, I have a market that I'm going to today. So I jumped on that. With what I have already here in store. Eventually, I do want to have a storefront here for bookstores. But I wanted to also bring my mother into that whole thought process as well. So I've been reaching out to a couple of the coffee shops out here to see if there's like a collaboration that we can do, to the point where when I'm ready for an actual storefront, I can also incorporate an actual coffee shop within there as well, kind of thing. So yeah, I'm still on the basic starting point still, but that was like the point. Like I wanted to do something with my love for books, and I wanted to make it somewhat profitable because I've always searched for jobs that like, oh, how can I get paid to read?
Yeah.
But like it was just a way to direct my free time. I didn't expect it to be so big so fast. But yeah.
So what brought you
Sorry
to
for the
Yuma?
ramble.
No, that's okay. That's okay. What brought you to Yuma?
So actually I went through a divorce, and my father lives down here in Yuma, so I came down here to be with him. That way I'd have some support around me, somebody to help me out, just to get my feet under me and everything. So yeah,
And
I came from New York. I was originally about to go to Texas. I was like, I want somewhere warmer, anywhere warmer. And when I went to my dad's, I fell in love with Yuma. It just was a great little town. We have our winter visitors every year that just really support the community, and I love it. And we don't have like a ton of big box stores or anything like that. We have a lot of little niche storefronts, which is really nice. So yeah.
well, and that breaks up things. I mean, it's not the big box monopoly. It's small business. And right now small business is having a harder time, I know, but it's still, if you can for now keep doing what you're doing at festivals and,
Mhm.
get to that point where you have enough capital for everything that it entails. I mean, because that's some people will think, "Oh, you're going to open bookstore. You're going to open a business. That's great. It is. But they don't look at, they don't, it's like when people say about, books. Oh,
Yeah.
well, it's not worth $4. Do you realize everything that goes in, just like the bookstore? Do you
Yes.
realize all the hidden costs that you have no concept about?
Yes, absolutely. It's true. And like when I saw those books at the Dollar Tree, I'm like, okay, why are they here? So I'm like, oh, they must be not worth anything. So I got on Amazon. I took a picture of it. I pulled it up. I was like, this book's worth 15, $16 on Amazon. Why are we selling it here? You know? So I felt bad in a way for the authors because now they're not making the amount of money necessarily that they thought that they were going to make, or so
Well,
I'm assuming.
it all depends on if they were traditionally published books, then that was all written in and they got that ahead of time. I mean,
Okay.
most of the time, not all the time, but a good bit of the time, when you sign a contract, you'll get an advance.
Okay.
And that's built in, and you may not get any more. That's where it ends up happening. We're going to give you an advance, but if you don't end up selling, you're not getting
Mm,
anything else.
gotcha.
For
Oh, well, then
indie,
I apologize to all the authors out there. If I have your book on my list, reach out to me.
I,
I'll
I
make you a
honestly,
little side bits.
but I think honestly, our author, let's talk about, as an author myself, it's like
Yeah.
we write because we want our story to be heard. We want write because we want to give that to somebody else. That joy. You don't, I mean, yeah, sure, we write for ourselves because we can take ourselves on that journey. And that's how my writing journey began. But the fact of the matter is, you want to write so you can share that story with somebody
Mm.
and take them into an enjoyment. It's okay. So like my days that I wrote, the very first review I got, the person said, "This is the vilest human being I have ever met." Okay, in my book. And now here's the thing. No, I'm not shocked. I'm okay with that. And you know why I'm okay with that? Because I made you feel something. And
Oh.
as an author, if I make you feel hate, if I make you feel love, if I make you cry, I've made you feel something. Therefore, I've connected with you as an author.
Wow. I like that. Yeah.
So, I mean, when
Interesting.
somebody does not finish a story, then you're like, well, what did I do wrong? But when you
Yeah.
you have an emotion, even if it's the worst emotion in the world, it's still you've still connected with
Brought
somebody.
you could yes, you connected with them. That makes sense. Yes.
And I think
I like
that's when
that.
yeah, money's great. Don't get me wrong. I'd love to be a best-selling author. Don't get me wrong. But also the satisfaction of knowing that I took people on a ride and they had a great time.
Mm.
The first time when my second book, Worth Waiting For, I had somebody say, yeah, I was going to start housework and I never could put the book down. That's another big thing. I mean, to hear as an author that somebody couldn't put your book down, it's like, okay, all right. But
It's
those are the things that aren't money. They're not tangible.
yeah. It brings you the happiness to continue with
Yes.
your writing.
Yes.
Yes.
And that's something that people don't think about. There's the whole big discussion of reviews are for readers. Well, yeah, but reviews also inspire an author to keep going.
Yes. And it helps them to decide if they want to make a sequel sometimes too.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, what was the response from the community? Do they want more? Kind of thing. Yeah.
So
Mhm.
when did you come across your love of reading? When did that really just go? I just love books. I mean, my stepdaughter, my oldest stepdaughter, it was like we would go to Half Price Books every weekend because she would go through the Babysitters Club and all these other books like quickly. So when was your love of reading started?
Um, I remember growing up and seeing my mother's bookcase full of the, half naked cowboys. And I always thought that, oh, I wanted to read romance. When I was about 10, 11 years old, I wanted to actually read one of her books.
Oh boy.
Of course, while her books are, we're just going to say rated R
Hmm.
at the time anyway.
Yeah.
And my grandmother was like, "Well, don't squash it. Just get her a different type of book." And so my grandmother actually introduced me to Daniel Steele.
Okay.
With the book at the time was uh, uh, something debut. Oh shoot, I totally forgot.
That's okay.
Okay, anyway. But it was about this girl coming of age and getting to know a relationship and everything, which I really liked a lot. And it was so clean.
Yeah.
And I continued reading her stuff, and I continued reading Mary Higgins Clark. You would usually see me outside on a blanket, wrapped up with a blanket as well to make it look like a dress. I I played the dress up thing, you know. I
That's
got my
fine.
little gown on, and I'm gonna go read outside. And oh yeah, it was in a way transforming me into that tranquil setting to be able to read and get out of reality. It was something that I definitely needed at the time. And I continuously throughout my life kept coming back to that for that feeling. I found myself looking for that peace and everything. And so as time went on, I sort of got away from books a little bit. Um, got married, had my life and everything. And then I just started kind of depressing again. So I was like, okay, I need to do something with my life. And I was talking to a friend of mine, and she was like, oh, yeah, I read books all the time. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, why don't I read books again? You know, and she got me back into it through the young adult fantasy stuff, which was awesome. I fell in love with it. You would find me coming home and I would sit down and read every day for like an hour or so before I got up and cooked and everything. Felt like I was decompressing in a way. Um, when I finally divorced, I took all my books with me. And I found myself just reading my day through. You know, if I wasn't working, I was reading. Um, I met a guy here in Yuma, and so we're together now. And I got distracted again with life and everything. I kind of fell away from books a little bit, but I kept my collection going. And he supported me as well, just my love for reading, buying me books every so often. The very first book that he bought me happened to be a Chantel Tesla. I think I'm saying that right. If you don't know her, she actually writes a few of the darker romance stuff. He did not expect it. And so the funny thing was when I was reading it, I was about, what, 10 pages in or so. I don't know. I took a picture of the page and I sent it to him. He's like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize I bought you porn.
or
I,
or as they call it, or
Literally,
cliterature. That's it, cliterature.
literature. Yes, thank you.
Yes.
But you know, and he has supported me in that reading, and he knows that it helps me mentally. And so when I decided to start doing these blind books for markets, he supported it. He's like, all right, go for it. You know, find something you love and just stick with it. And I had jumped from like little job things throughout my sorry my camera does this.
Okay.
I jumped through things the past couple of years of trying to do little tiny businesses, side gigs, hustles, and stuff to get a little extra money to get myself out of debt. Um, I tried everything. I'll be honest, I tried OnlyFans even. I'm not good at that stuff though. You know, it wasn't me. All these little things that I did, it wasn't me. But when I saw this stuff, the blind dates with a book and everything, I was like, you know what? That is me. That is something that I love. Is my passion for reading, and I can expound on that. so much better than I can on anything else that I've tried that I thought other people want, but they don't really. They don't really want that. So they want whatever you love and put your own passion behind.
They want
And that's what really draws your community to you.
they
I
want you
feel
to
like.
be authentic, and
Yes,
you have to be
authentic.
authentic.
Yes.
And I want to say this because yes, I remember Danielle Steele Chance's, she had some great books. But when you look at and even Jackie Collins, okay, back in the day, I love Jackie Collins, but back in the day, Jackie Collins was like, it's steam, it's so raunchy. And Jackie Collins, I love it, but it's tame. It is tame compared to even what I write. It's like now, no, women now want the hardcore honest, they want the cock. They don't want his throbbing member. They want, I'm sure you saw 10
Yes.
Things I Hate About You, and then Alice and Jenny's character is writing about his throbbing member. I mean, that's not what it is now. Now it is, and the scary thing about it, especially as an author, is now we have certain laws that they're trying to put in place that says, no, 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 we can't do that. Well, what are you going to do? Come to everybody's house and steal their books? I mean, yeah, you could take them off the Kindle, but are you going to actually be able to steal the physical copies of the books? Are you?
Right.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's a booming industry that,
Mhm.
and the other thing about it is there's so many taboos that I think people are writing about too that would never happen. When I released, so I released 3 books in 2023 and I pulled them because I wrote them really fast and I wasn't happy with them. But one of the things I did was there was a character who originally was 31 years old and he was messing around with a 17-year-old girl. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to get roasted for this. I'm going to get roasted for this. And now I'm revisiting this because it's like, yeah, okay, no, I'm not. And to
Oh,
be honest, I was like, somebody posted a picture of Jennifer Flavin and Sylvester Stallone last night. Okay, well, there's 22 years between the two. She was 19 when she met him. So come for me. I write about Hollywood. It's fine. So, yeah.
yeah.
And that's the thing. It's like there's so many things, and I'm not even going with the stepbrother and all these other things, but people are willing to see those taboos.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think the warning pages,
Mm,
people look for that. That if they're looking through those books and they know their own triggers, they're gonna look through the warning page and be like, okay, maybe not for me. But other people who are like, I don't care, they're
hmm
gonna pick it up.
and that's the one thing also that people don't realize is you can't write for everybody,
No, no, you can't.
and you
And
can't
you gotta
go ahead.
like we said, you gotta write with your passion about.
hmm hmm And I mean that's the thing. It's like some people don't really think about their passion when they write. They're like they're writing for market, and you can tell when the book is written for market and it's not something that they truly believe in.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it's kind of like acting. If you're
It
not living in the
yeah,
moment,
yeah, and you can tell when like a book is just not drawing a person in.
yeah.
It almost feels like AI wrote it in a way.
Which there's
uh,
go ahead.
which scares everybody.
Yes.
But yeah, like it just you can tell like when a book was not truly written with that love behind it. Just reading it, it's just not captivating. Like I've read a couple of books recently that just like instantly draws you in. I'm listening to the Housemaid. That book just instantly draws you in, and it was just amazing. Like these when you have that passion behind them, it makes them amazing books,
Yeah.
amazing stories.
And that's the thing. If you don't have that passion, then it's lacking. There was something I was reading. Okay, so there was something I was reading. I'm not going to name the book, but this girl allegedly gets this call that she's going to be a dancer on a rock tour.
Oh,
Okay, fine. That's
okay.
fine. Fine, cool. But she's listed in as the description that she's an actress and a model. Okay. And she's going to be working a pole on this tour. Okay. And so me being from that industry, they 3 days before the tour, she's sitting in her hotel room watching TV. there's no rehearsal in every band. I'm pretty sure most people realize that every band has rehearsals before they take the stage. So the night of the show, she falls over off the pole and falls flat during the show. And the guitarist comes over and picks her up. But I'm like, I understand you wrote for that scene so you could get so you could have him pick her up. I get
Yeah.
that, but throw
It's
it
not
into
realistic.
hers. Yeah,
It's not realistic. We want a little bit of realism, so that way we feel like it's our life when we're
yeah.
reading it.
Unless you're reading fantasy stuff, unless you're
Yeah,
reading about
yeah,
shapeshifters and things of that nature, and even then, you still want a little bit of reality in there
yeah.
to ground it.
Don't. Yeah, ground it. Yes.
I mean, some people may not care, but it was one of those things because I am in, and not just the publishing industry, because I've been around bands. I know enough that it's like, you're not going to be sitting around a hotel room just twiddling your thumbs. Why are they paying you to be there?
Yeah. Yep.
And no offense, the book was fine, but that was just one of those things where it's like, okay. And I think as a reader, you start paying attention to those things, and that's what
Mm,
a lot of readers turn into writers because they've read so much and they see so many tropes. So, have you ever thought about writing your own book?
I have. I have. I actually have one that I've been off and on working on over the past few years. It is a I can kind of give you a gist of what I'm going for. It's pretty much it comes from a dream of mine. Let's start there. Yeah, it comes from a dream of mine that I've had recurring over and over again. Um, a big dire wolf
Mm-hmm.
protecting me, and he shows up every so often out of the blue. I don't know why this dream keeps occurring, but he does. He keeps doing it. I've been on a boat a few times, and he jumps off the cliff to protect me and stuff. Like I don't know where this is coming from,
I
but I was like, let me write this out. Maybe I can kind of expand on this. Maybe pull it from my memory even. And so I had it starting off as a young girl who was orphaned by the government or the kingdom or whatever. I haven't really decided yet. Um, her and her brothers, they have to go through a test within this kingdom, and it's a fantasy. So I have it so that there's like these gods that choose which village you're going to go to as you walk through this arch. And she is walked this government comes in while she's walking through the arch and just ransacks this village and starts like going crazy. And her brother had just walked through, and her other brother is behind her.
mm,
So as she's walking through, all these men, these government people are coming, and she's instantly transported.
okay, so it's a portal.
It's a portal. Yeah. Yeah. And she's instantly transported to where she's supposed to go based off of what the gods want her to be.
Okay,
And that's how far I've gotten so far. But I want to make it so that this dire wolf is coming to her rescue. He's been lurking in the shadows all this time, watching over her since the day that her parents died, and kind of like that. So that's where I've gone. I've been on and off this for a couple of years now. But yeah.
I think he's part of your creation, but I also think this dire wolf, because it's a reoccurring dream, and yes, I'm into the woo. Uh,
Please.
I think he most likely he's a spirit animal. He's most
you
likely a
know
protector because if I mean, think about when he has shown up. If it's been through times when your life has seemed really tough, or you seemed like
Mhm.
he's there to show you that you're okay and you're protected.
You're right. You're right.
But
And I've always been
don't take
drawn to
away,
wolves.
don't take away from your
I know.
story.
No, no, no. But like that is so true because I've always been drawn to the wolf. I've always liked wolves. I when I saw the dire wolf in Game of Thrones, I was like, you know what? Is that actually a real animal? And I looked it up. I was like, that is actually a real animal that went extinct. So it's not like it's a true fantasy type
Right.
thing. And at the time, I was with religious things, so they didn't really like the whole werewolf thing. So when I saw that dire wolves were real, I was like, I can I can expand on this. I
Hmm.
can actually dive into this without being wrong towards my religion at the time. I'm not religious anymore. But yeah, so I went with that and like I've always felt that draw to that. I've always wanted to be um have a big dog, you know. And my boyfriend has a German Shepherd. I love him. He's a beast, you know. And I think that that is, like you said, that protection that I'm drawing towards in my life. You know, needing that big dog to protect me in a way. So
Well,
yeah,
and I
yeah.
think, one thing that people don't realize is sometimes dreams, especially reoccurring ones, they have those hidden messages. I've had dreams, you know, um, like total chaos. I had a dream where things were total chaos. There was a tornado coming, and my late husband came to me and he's like, "Everything's gonna be okay. Everything's gonna be fine." And I'm like, "Get your ass in the basement," because we actually did have a tornado when he was alive, and he was just like, "I'm gonna stand by the front door." I'm like, "No, go downstairs. Go
What is it with
downstairs."
that?
Yeah, so he goes downstairs. But anyway, so in the dream, he walks to the back of the house and pulls open the curtain and he's like, "See, everything's fine." And sure enough, the situation I was going through at the time where I was spiraling ended up being okay. And even
Mm,
a month before he died, I had a dream about basically a tornado picking up our car in a parking lot. And as we're spinning around, I'm sitting there going, "I don't want to die." And so the car gets set down and then we get taken to this brick building. Well, the fact of the matter is, the parking lot where this happened in the dream is adjacent. We were in Burger King in the adjacent parking lot of the parking lot from the dream. And he died in the car. And then they got him back, which he ended up being on life support and ended up dying anyway. But
oh my.
yeah, but the dream, what I'm getting at is the dream played out because here I'm saying, I don't want to die. No doubt in his mind, because he collapsed, he was most likely mentally still accusing, I don't want to die.
Oh,
So sometimes
wow.
dreams, if you pay attention, whether
Yeah.
they can be right in your face or they can have hidden meanings.
Yep. It's true. It's true.
So,
And yeah, I think there is. It might, who knows where it comes from? It could be our subconscious, it could be something else out there. But
well,
it's still there in your brain. And it's your dreams are pulling it out of your brain at least.
I've talked to a neuroscientist on the
Okay.
show, which that was one of those things where it's like he wants to talk to me. Um, but he was talking about how we're all connected, and that the collective is this one long stream of consciousness, and that we are all connected. And talking to an astrophysicist, I've talked to him about multiple timelines and how, yes, we can see ahead, and also it's already written, but we don't know that. So it's
Right.
like, I think if we pay attention to some more things that are mundane and not get so wrapped up in things
Hmm.
become a little bit clearer.
Yeah. Yeah. It's true. It's true.
So you need to sit down and you need to write your book and you need to get your bookstore going. And I mean, there's a lot of things, and that's the thing. You have to do what you're passionate about. And yes, you have to have a job to pay the bills. I get that. But you also have to look at your dreams and continue to try to inspire to doing those things.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
So okay, let's just say this bookstore comes to fruition.
Yes.
Or excuse me, when this bookstore comes to fruition, do you see this just being a little small place in Yuma, or do you eventually hope to, turn it into like a Barnes?
Um, I don't see myself being like a Barnes, but I definitely would want it to be a focal point in Yuma. That is something that we really need here for sure. But also maybe expanding it as a subscription type thing online. I don't necessarily think having multiple locations is really something I'm looking to do at this time
Right.
because of how I've seen other people do that. And the other location is just either it takes too much time to split between the two. It just, you can't always trust the person's going to have the same passion as you that's running it. That store or that location. So I just don't really necessarily feel like that's where I want to go until I find that person that's going to have the same passion as me with
And I don't even know that I mean, that's the thing. If you can look at that at
it.
this juncture, because a lot of people would be like, well, I'm going to do one. And then after that's on, I'm going to do another. The thing is, you're being clear headed about what you're seeing in your vision. And that's how you bring it to life because you know what you want. You see
Yeah.
what you want. You
Yeah.
just have to make it tangible.
Yep. No.
And
So,
the other interesting thing is competing with like, I mean, we have Barnes, but competing with like Amazon. If
yeah.
you're willing to, I mean, there's so many. I was going my book that's coming out. Usually, in every other release, I've had my own ISBN. So this time, I decided I'll use Amazon's ISBN, and I got to the point where I'm almost done with the paperback, and it's looking at royalties. And for my paperback, which they want me to sell for $7, I get 22 cents.
Ah,
I just said, okay, on that note, I will not release it in paperback until I can get an ISBN. Yeah, 22 cents.
that is just
Yeah.
that has to be illegal or something. Come on, that's just wrong.
I mean, there's $5 in printing cost, and then the rest they keep. And when you use your own ISBN,
Wow.
I'll
Okay.
make like $2 and something off a book. And granted, it cost me to get ISBNs, but when you're 22 cents per book. So anybody listening, this is why we're authors. When you sit there and go, well, a cup of coffee, when an author's making 22 cents for a book and you want the perfect cover and the perfect editing and everything else,
Mm-hmm.
it takes a long time. Just like Spotify with musicians, the same play.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's the one thing it's
It's
great about technology that we've gotten out past the gatekeepers, but
but at the same time, we are hurting the arts.
yeah,
We are hurting them. Yeah. And we're making, it's nice that all these people are being able to show what their talents are and everything. But at the same time, we are hurting the industry too in flooding it with all of it, with the cheapness of everything as well. It's I really wish there was a better way so that the actual artists and talent can get more, but people don't want to pay.
no,
They don't pay.
that which is the whole other avenue of pirating. Let's go
Mm-hmm.
pirate your book. Okay.
Yeah.
And somebody, because I'm doing arcs for the first time. I have a group of people that read my book, but I'm actually doing wide arcs this time. And I was reading up on it, and it's like, well, you can send a PDF, but here's the thing. And you could put a watermark on the PDF, but that's very easy to remove.
Yes.
So it's like, okay, so you're taking a shot. And if you don't own a copyright on that and you put it under Kindle Unlimited and it shows up, you better prove you have a copyright. Otherwise, Amazon's going to take your account.
Wow.
Which,
Okay.
which you didn't need to know
Man,
all
that's
this, but I guess in a way,
crazy.
if you end up writing,
That just, yeah, no, that's good to know though. Like the struggle that authors are going through. I like to know those things. So yeah,
well,
that's
that's the
good.
thing too. As you build a relationship, if you actually do, decide to do a brick and mortar, or even if you want to sell books on your site, authors are going to be more receptive to coming to you because yes, you're still going to take a cut, but if you're more reasonable, they're going to want to deal with you as opposed to.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like and like I've said before, like I'll pay what you guys want me to pay for a book. And then I'll just mark up what I need to, take care of what I do on my end. And that way the customer is actually paying for it and not you guys. Like there's no reason for you guys to pay more than what you've already paid to get this book printed.
Yeah.
you know,
And that's
um,
that's the crazy, and that's the other thing when you order author copies off of Amazon, because I see a lot of people like, I would just love a paperback arc. Okay, you're asking for the author to pay for the book, which is fine, which is like five something a book, basically. And then Amazon will not ship that book to me for free. There's no prime shipping on that.
No,
So
no.
there's shipping there, and then I'm going to ship it to you. And then you may or may not leave a review.
Mm,
So it's a
yeah,
dicey game for authors.
yeah. I see that.
But
Yeah.
so in the long term, when do you think you may have an idea of when you want to open up your bookstore?
Um, so I should be completely out of debt by summertime next year. So I would like to be able to come the next season of our winter visitors next year to be able to have an actual storefront.
Nice.
So I'm looking at about a year. And I'm looking for angel investors because having a bookstore, you have to put a lot of collateral up. You have to, you know, pre-purchase all that stuff. And so you do have a lot riding on it before you can actually open.
I think that's what people don't think about. It's not one
Mhm.
of those things where it's like, oh, well, I can do all this on spec. You can't really. You have to,
No. Yeah.
and and then, do you have I had a friend that opened the shop I used to work out of. She opened a metaphysical store and she signed a 5-year lease. And they said to her when she signed the 5-year lease that you can't put a going out of business sign up. If you end up closing, you can't do that. Well, she was 2 years into her lease when she closed up because she couldn't afford it anymore. So
Yeah.
that's the thing. It's like you want to make it perfect. You have this vision. And that if I learned anything from watching her, I don't want to say do your vision half-assed, but don't rush everything into that perfect vision yet.
Yeah.
Build on it.
And that's my thing. Like, I'm going to be doing these markets. I'm going to be building that extra cash to be able to afford a brick and mortar. I'm not wanting to rush into it at all. But if the community comes around and supports me like that, then and I'm ready for it, absolutely, I'll go right into it if it's sooner. Totally fine with that. But at the same time, I'm looking at my community. I know I'm only a half year community. The other half is just our locals that, we're not huge readers. I go to the library. They're not big readers here. Um, but, if the community supports you and you can expand faster, great. But I also don't want to rush it if it's not affordable.
Well, and the one thing to think about too is when you have that big influx of people coming in, there's places up in Wisconsin that are
Mhm.
open just for the summer.
Yes.
And they do their business and they shutter it all that other time. And I'm not suggesting you do that. That's not, but what I'm getting at is if you know that push is there, then that's when you push it. And then you
Yeah.
minimize everything else. You lessen your hours if necessary. You do what you have to do to maintain. And
Yeah.
then you keep pushing when you have the people.
Yeah. Exactly.
And definitely maintain your online presence.
Oh yeah. That's been a story. Oh my goodness, you guys have sworn me over here. I'm sitting at work on the TikTok and my boss is like, hello. You have phone calls coming in.
Wow.
So yeah, like I've had to learn that work and work balance.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, no, the online presence, you guys have been a great support. The community has been a wonderful support, and I appreciate everything. And I hope that everybody continues to help supporting me. I do.
That's awesome. I mean, it's amazing sometimes if you find the right niche that you do have the support in the community. It's a hard
Yeah,
thing to do, so I applaud that you've done it.
yeah. I'm so thankful for
So,
sure.
did you grow up in New York? Are you originally from there?
No, so I grew up kind of a little bit of all over. First in Washington State, Tacoma area for about 10 years. My parents moved us down to North Carolina for a couple of years, then over to Kansas. That's where I got married, and then I moved up to New York. I've been everywhere.
No, I
I
mean,
think the longest I spent in one house was maybe 7 years. Um, yeah, but I bounced around a lot.
but I think that's one of the reasons why you have the love of reading is because it gave you some stability. I mean, when my parents split and I kind of lost our little childhood home that I had, the thing that saved my ass was Star Wars. Star Wars,
Oh,
seeing Star Wars at the movie theater. Every time my dad picked me up, he's like, "So what do you want to go do? Can we go see Star Wars?" Yeah. And at the time, girls were not. I mean, most of the girls in my fifth grade class were just like, "Ew." Now Star Wars is acceptable by everybody, but back then it was more of a guy thing. And yeah, I love Star Wars. I wanted to be Princess Leia. I couldn't tell you how bad, but it's one of those things where it's like you find something when you're going through those hard times that actually pulls you through. And if you
yeah.
do, I think that's the thing. If you don't have that escape, just like
Mhm.
now for me, like when I was going through the chemo, writing came. I mean, I always write, but writing came to be the only thing I could do. And so I
Mhm.
kept pushing through. And the fact is, when we need that escape mechanism, whether it's a book, a TV show, or whatever, and some people use drugs and alcohol to do it,
Yeah.
but if you can do it without that and you can use your mind to escape into a book, to escape into a movie, to sit down and write, it is
Mhm.
a gift and it offers you some clarity and some peace of mind.
Yeah. Yes, it does.
I mean,
And
go
it's
ahead.
it's healthy. It's a healthy way of doing it too,
Yeah,
because you're exercising that mind as well.
exactly. I mean, before I ever picked up a pen to write a story, I would insert myself into TV shows as a kid because that was just in my mind. I could do that. It was like, okay, so they have a kid. They've never had a kid on that show, but they have a kid now, and I'm that kid. And here we go. And off my mind would go.
That too.
But that was the thing. It was an escape. It gave you a way
Yes.
to experience something else in an adventure, and you could carry on that adventure.
Yes. Yes. It's so true. It's so true. It's just yeah, absolutely.
And I don't know that I don't know that everybody understands the being a writer, especially being a writer, you have that escape mechanism because you have to unless you're just doing it for money, you're doing it because you want to escape and you want to create a story into a world all on its own.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So for
absolutely.
you, you're going to go to a market today.
Yes. Yes.
And is this an outdoor market or are there indoor markets that you're doing?
So this is actually at a restaurant
Okay.
here in town, restaurant bar kind of thing. They're doing like a special thing. It's called Sip and Shop.
Okay.
They're giving everybody, as long as you make a purchase, you get $1 off your first drink.
Nice.
Yeah, they're like, you can do anything as far as you want, just no drinks, because
Okay.
that's their thing. So I was like, all right, I got these books. I'm getting it all together. I'm going to try to keep it simple because this is my first one, and I'm going by myself.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm just going to stick with like books, the blind dates. I'll have my keychains and my bookmarks and my totes, but just going with kind of a mass price, $25, $20 for blind books is what I'm doing. And then like $5 totes,
Yeah.
one for this, three for this, with the keychains and bookmarks. So I've got it all set up, ready to go. I'm hoping to be there about 3 o'clock just to be ready.
Hmm.
I'm very excited about it. I'm hoping I sell out,
Oh
honestly,
yeah.
because I'm only taking about 50 books. I'm
Okay.
not taking a lot with me. I don't want to go there and feel that sadness taking everything back home. So I'm trying to be reasonable and be like, you know what? I'm going to only take 50. And if they don't take that many, okay, fine. If I sell out, that's awesome. And that's going to give me that extra boost to keep going.
Well, and I want to say this because I've worked vendor markets because I used to make wax melts and do tarot readings and all this. And
Oh, okay.
some events, the whole the whole group, but the metaphysical event was busy, 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 busy. And
Hmm.
others, it wasn't. And
Yeah,
so don't look at this one as just the end all be all. If it works, great. If it doesn't, it's okay. And you just
exactly.
keep going.
Yeah, yeah, it's true. And that's why I wanted to limit it to 50 because it would be, and knowing myself, the journey that I've gone through, I kind of got like an idea of what kind of blow I can take at this
Yeah,
point.
yeah,
Like, what soccer punch can I still handle?
yeah.
And I felt like 50 books, I feel like that's a good number for me.
Hmm.
That if I don't sell anything, I still had a good time, you know?
And
But
that's what you have to focus on.
yeah, yeah. So,
And bring a friend next time because it always is good when you
uh,
have a person to bring with you. That way, if you're talking to someone, someone else can pitch in.
yes, yes, absolutely, absolutely. My next one I am doing with my boyfriend's mother.
Okay.
It's going to be October 24th at our Friday Night Munchies here in
Okay.
town. We're going to be doing everything I have, I'll be bringing. And everything she has, she's going to be bringing. She does decor.
Okay.
So she's got a lot of Halloween fall decor that she's going to put out with it too. So hopefully bring some people in. And then I've also got Niche Cafe here in Yuma that is going to be supporting us as well. I've got an order in for 100 cups of coffee to put with it. And yeah, we're,
Nice.
we're we're working on it. We're working on it. We're trying to hold back while everybody's pulling us forward in a
Well,
way.
and the thing is, with the holidays coming up, this is a good thing to do too. I mean, the holidays, if you can get in some holiday markets, you'll definitely build because people are going to be looking for Christmas gifts.
Yes.
And
Yes.
this year it's going to be a little different because of things being costly. They're going to be looking for easier, fun ideas, different ideas.
Yep. Yep.
So I think this would be a great niche for people that know they have a friend that's a reader.
Yeah.
And here you go. I got you a date.
Exactly. Exactly.
So is there anything that we didn't discuss that you would like to add?
Oh my goodness. What did we not discuss? Uh, I think that's pretty much all.
Okay.
But about your book.
Oh, well, my book, I already did the ad for it. It's coming out of the shadows, and that'll be that's coming out on my birthday, actually, October
Oh,
13th. So
congratulations.
so yeah. And then I have some other books coming out that are skewed more toward the dark. So
Oh. Oh.
yes.
Exciting.
So well, I
Well, you
think
have to keep me posted with those.
I will. I will. Thank you, Amanda, for coming on.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
So Amanda's store is Sage and Story, and you can find it online at sageandstory.com. And I think, when we talk about the fact that she started out with Danielle Steele, and like I was saying on the show, Danielle Steele back in the day, very much like Jackie Collins was, you know, it was tawdry. I mean, Danielle Steele's a little bit more tame than Sydney Sheldon or Jackie, but there was still this whole aspect of, it was more mature. And I remember when I got to read Chances, it was like, oh, wow, okay. Um, But the fact is, we have to keep looking how literature has evolved. And yeah, like her boyfriend said, well, you're reading porn. Well, is it? Is it porn because we decide it's porn? You know, is it wrong that a woman wants to be stimulated by a different means than necessarily watching a video or listening to sounds? I mean, everybody's got their own kink, everybody's got their own enticement. And I think that's a big deal when we talk about literature because it has a booming business and the taboos that are explored now are so much more than they were. And yes, I will say it. I have watched porn. And yes, some of the taboos that you see on those channels are the same taboos that are being written about now. So women have fantasies. And is it wrong for a woman to have a fantasy and take care of herself? I mean, guys do it all the time. That's what the whole talk about the porn industry was, that guys are always doing that. They're always getting themselves off, they're watching porn, blah, blah, blah. So, is it wrong for a woman to do that? And it shouldn't be, because we are just as sexual in nature as, dare I say, a guy. And that is okay. I think that whatever somebody's kink is, as long as it's not harming anybody and as long as it's not dealing with minors, that's fine. It's your kink, as long as you're not hurting anybody. Now, do I think underage kids should be involved? No. But as I was on a podcast, a guest on on the Myth Behaving podcast, and I was talking about Russell and Ava. So Russell's 31 and Ava is 17. Jen's like, well, I was always flirting at 17. I was always flirting with older guys. So we have to consider that 17 sometimes, when I was in high school, we had 17-year-old girls looking at college boys, and even, younger than that, looking at the male teachers going, damn, he's fine, because fine was the word back then, not necessarily hot. But I think that with literature, with books, we have, we go on this journey, and I ended up taping Amanda's podcast right after this one. And I have to now do all this. But one thing we talked about, and she laughed, because when we were talking about my books, I said, well, I want the reader to go on a ride. And because there's sex in there, she took it as a double entendre and she laughed. And that's fine. But the fact of the matter is, it is a ride. Books are a ride. They take you on a journey. I just like the word ride better. And yes, if there's smut in there, well, then yeah, you're going on a ride, at least mentally. But I think that we need to allow for those differences. I think we need to allow for women to have that pleasure. There should be no problem with a woman enjoying herself. And we need to break those stereotypical roles. We need to allow a woman to experience life to the fullest. And I've had a podcast before talking about genital mutilation of women in Africa. And why is it that women are not allowed to have fun? Why are we not allowed to experience those things? Why is the pendulum going backwards to oppressing? There are laws on the books, or they're trying to put laws on the books, where the books I write could land me in jail. And that's a scary thought, because, they're talking about $100,000 fine. I'd love to make $100,000 publishing books. I would. But that hasn't happened, and I'm not sure it ever will happen. So we live in interesting times, and I think that, the book boyfriend that she's talking about, I think that's awesome, because, the blind date with a book boyfriend, hey, a woman can have some fun. And maybe sometimes that book boyfriend is easier to take in short doses than having a real life relationship with all the drama, especially if you already have a lot of tension in your life. So, however you find pleasure, however you find your release, it should be acceptable. And on that note, I'd like to thank Amanda for coming on the show. If you want to check out her stuff, go to sageandstory.com. The link will be in the bio. And I'd like to thank Fast Susie for the intro and outro music. And most importantly, I'd like to thank you guys for tuning in. So until next time, whether you're listening morning, noon, or night, well, take care, and I'll catch you next time, guys. Bye.